My name's Shaquan, but a lot of people know me by my other name, Mad Skillz. I'm an MC.
My name is Mad Skillz. Paris, make some noise.
I'm a DJ.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a ghostwriter for some of your favorite rappers. I'm not about to tell you who, though. But most importantly, I'm a hip-hop enthusiast. HipHopConfessions is raw, unfiltered conversations with my friends revealing things that they didn't like, never knew about,
I don't know.
or never got into about hip-hop culture. So sit back.
Oh, come on, y'all.
Turn up the volume.
Hip-hop.
And listen to HipHopConfessions. Because everybody's got one.
Here's a little story that must be told.
And it goes a little something like this.
What's up, y'all? This is your boy, Mad Skillz. We are here. This is my podcast, HipHopConfessions. Y'all know what we do here. Y'all know the type of confessions that we come up with, the kind of people that we come up with. I got one of my favorite comedians on the line right now. I just tuned into this guy just recently, and his stand-up. I've been known his name. I've known his voice forever. What feels like forever, and I've super become a fan of this guy, man. I got my guy Tony Baker in the building. What up?
What's happening, man? I'm a fan.
Oh man, thank you.
Come on, man. I bought your debut album, man, the day it came out.
Really?
Yes. From where? I bought that.
Wow.
This was, I was buying, back when people had to buy the actual albums. I'm 45, so this is what we was doing. And your album came out, and I was flush with cash. I was working at Dairy Queen. I had the money to get the actual albums I wanted.
Right.
Because before, when you broke and you depended on your parents, I used to have a rule. If I like 3 singles, then I would get the full album. But once I started making my own little money, all I needed was 1 song, and I'm pulling up.
Wow.
Getting it the first day. So yeah, I got your album.
On the first day, that's crazy.
First day.
And I still didn't sell as much as Tupac and the Fugees, but shit, I appreciate you.
you had a rough come out. And
that day
that's
was
funny
horrible.
that you mentioned it. Because my confession is rooted in what you just mentioned, but I'll save it for later.
Dope. Okay. Well, how you been, brother?
Man, I've been hanging in there, you know what I'm saying? Taking it one day at a time,
Yeah, you on the road heavy.
Yes.
I've been seeing you every weekend, you somewhere different.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's good, man. I'm glad we back outside and we can go and touch the people, because I know comedians and shit, even artists, had it kind of hard during the pandemic, man. We had to pivot and want no money with that shit.
Whew, that pivot game was strong. My pivot game was NBA level, man. I had to pivot so hard. The multiple pivots where they just stay on that one foot and keep rotating.
Right.
That was me in the pandemic for sure.
So listen, man, to touch on a little bit of your background, you are from Grand Rapids, Michigan?
I was only born there, but I was raised in Chicago. I was born in Grand Rapids, and then my mom went right back to Chicago when I couldn't even remember anything.
Right. I'm like that with Detroit.
All I knew was Chicago, so I was raised in Chicago.
Oh, okay.
Southside.
Okay, dope. So you got a couple hip hop legends there. You know what I'm saying?
Common.
Common.
Chance the Rapper's a new legend.
Chance, Ye, of course.
We got Twister from the West Side, Kanye.
My good friend, No ID.
No ID, man.
Yeah, that's one of my homies.
I was just about to say him, man.
I just talked to him, you know what I'm saying, like earlier today.
I met him once. I don't know if he remembers me, but I met him once in the studio with Knife Wonder and Rhapsody, and he was there. And they were debating, I think, sports or something like that.
Oh, yeah, we got a group chat. That's 90% of what we're talking about all day. Like, I gotta add you to that group chat.
Please do.
You have a lot of fun in there.
Please do. Please.
So a Chi-Town guy.
Mm-hmm.
What was it like coming up in Chi-Town early, when you first got introduced to hip hop?
What's funny? I'm the youngest of 3 boys, so I'm pretty much sponging all. Pretty much when you first come up in the game in life, that's the game. You pretty much at the mercy of your family, your immediate family. So whatever they're playing is what you're getting exposed to.
Mm-hmm.
So my mom is playing gospel, R&B. She's playing the Beatles also, the Weird soundtrack. So I'm getting all that, right? And so as the 80s coming to fruition, it's mad. Like, of course, Thriller, early Prince, 1999.
Right.
The album, not the year. And so, but they also Mad Pop though. You know,
Yeah.
Duran, Pet Shop Boys, Peter Gabriel, so my brothers were into all of this. So it was a lot. I'm listening to a lot of 80s pop, R&B, and the rap came into my radar with, B Street and breaking. And so
84.
yeah, so
Mhm.
I'm looking at breakdancing now, and I'm just taking it all in, and I'm just like, okay, a lot of people be like, the Sugar Hill Gang, and that didn't really hit me as a small child yet. So when I fully was like, yo, hip hop was like when I'm watching B Street and I'm watching these cats breakdancing and stuff like that, and then I'm seeing Run DMC and I'm seeing Walk This Way and so I'm just like, oh, okay, but it still didn't. You have that moment where hip hop punches you in the face.
Right.
So I still didn't have that true moment to where it hit me personally yet. And then my middle brother, he's more into hip hop than my oldest. So he's listening to Audio 2 and, Ice Cube, NWA. I'm hanging out with my friend Leon. He plays the Ghetto Boys. So I'm like, yo, they can cuss like this? So I'm just like,
right.
taking
Mind
all
blown.
that in. Oh, Gangsta Love, I was like, yo, I didn't know you could talk like this on a record. And so, but I'm still just trying to gravitate towards, my hip hop identity personally.
Right.
And growing up in Chicago, we listening to everybody. We listening to East Coast, West Coast, wherever
Right.
you was at, we just taking in everybody. And we didn't really have a hip hop identity that early in the game. I feel like
Right.
with Chicago on a big level.
Mm-hmm.
So we taking it all in, and then my hip hop identity came in the early '90s, where it was just like I'm getting my feet around what I'm really into. And I
Right.
remember the day it happened. It was kind of late, but it was like '93.
Mhm.
93 was when it was serious for me. Like it was real. Like I heard Wu-Tang Clan Enter the 36 Chambers.
Hell of an
And-
album.
Oh, and I was just like, yo, who is this? And my boy Lerone was like, yo, this is Wu-Tang Clan. I was like, who? Wu-Tang Clan. I asked him who it was like 8 times. I was like, yo, who was
Right.
we listening to earlier today?
This shit sounds weird.
Man, because it
Right.
was something I had never heard before. Because ODB was the first voice I heard, and I was just like, yo, what is happening here? And then the karate influences, and then the way they talk, they sounded like some Italian gangsters from good. I was just like, yo, what is this? I need
Right.
it. And in that moment, and I'm like, a young teenager. So it was in that moment where I was just like, I started drooling for hip hop for real, outside of just the hits.
Right.
Now I'm just like drooling. And then you got Illmatic. I'm going back a year or two for the Tribe. And I was already feeling DeLa, but I was still sponging off my older brothers. But now
Mm-hmm.
it's becoming my identity. Wu-Tang, Outkast, Nas. So that was the moment right there. And then when Common came out,
Yeah, you got
Sold by
somebody
the
from
pound.
the crib. Yeah.
That's when I was like, yo, he from Chicago. And I got excited. And I was just like, yes. And then, Breaking 1-9. And I was just like, yes.
Yeah.
And then Tongue Twister. And I was just like, I couldn't keep up with Tongue Twister, though. Like, he was so fast, I couldn't recite. I was just like, and Common
Common
was
you
a
can
little...
recite.
Common, I could recite a little better, even though he was faster then than he, because every Common album, he sounded a little bit different than the one before.
Right.
So that's when, and by the time Resurrection came out, I was all in.
Yeah,
So it
that
was
was a
just like-
killer
Yeah.
record.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I tell people a lot, like, coming up in the 80s and listening to music and listening to what our parents listened to, and then when MTV hit, you know what I'm saying, we was babies. So, they something along the lines of, oh shit, they got a music channel to just play music videos all day.
All day.
So anytime I turn to this joint, it ain't gonna be nothing but music.
Right.
So by doing that, that's how we got, because if you wanted to see Michael, if you wanted to see Rick James or Luther or whoever, Prince, you still had to go through all that other shit.
Right.
But those were singles, those was bops. You was getting that Duran Duran, that Genesis,
Mhm.
Eurythmics. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like it lasted. It made such a lasting impression on me that even now I get in the car and if I might hit a couple stations, or if I was just in the car a couple hours ago and I don't want to listen to what I was listening to on my Spotify or whatever, I go listen to an 80s station. I listen to K Earth 101 or some shit. Yeah. And just listen to the old shit just to take me back to that place.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So, and the videos would be like Hall & Oates videos and fucking Huey Lewis and the News had the best videos.
Come on, man. That Peter Gabriel Sledgehammer video is still one of the best ever.
Yes, insane, man. I liked my shit was the dude from the Beatles, George Harrison had a song called I Got My Mind Set on You.
Oh,
and
yeah.
That video had a bunch of moving parts and shit like that. I just remembered like
hell yeah.
Because hip hop, we only had Run DMC showing up on MTV. If anything,
that was it.
Won't know Yo MTV Raps yet.
Right.
So, you only got a couple black people sprinkled in between all these white people. But the white people had some bops.
Yeah, they did.
Them shits was some bops. So I
remember that Herbie Hancock video, Rocket?
Yes.
That weird ass video stayed in my mental, man, because we would just always watch and it was just super weird. And I was like, what's going on here?
What's so crazy to me is the Rocket video, it really matched the music.
It did.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I was just like, this is genius because I was just like, and I would sit there and watch that video like it was like a typical, narrative going on. And it wasn't.
I would sit there and watch the video that used to have me mesmerized when I was around that age was Sweet Dreams.
Oh, man.
Because I didn't understand. I was like, I used to tell my sister, because she would always miss it. She'd be like, what video you talking about? I'm like, yo, it's this dude, but it's a woman, but she looked like a dude. Right. And she's like, what you mean? And I was like, and it's a cow. Yeah. It's like she's standing next to a cow with a baton in it. She like, what? Like my sister for weeks didn't believe that it was no such. She thought I was making this shit up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That video was crazy, man. They was super artistic back then. Well, they still are now, but I feel like back then it was like, this is what we do. We doing the super arty stuff right here.
Right. Out the gate.
Yep, out the gate.
Rip. I love those times, man.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and that's what it was like. We didn't have MTV for long. So when I truly got my identity, I know it coincided with me having access to BET. Mm-hmm. So now I'm getting black music 24/7. I'm watching Rap City. I'm watching Midnight Love, Video Soul. I'm watching all this. So now I'm like, yo. I'm watching every rap video that's out right here, right now.
I might have posted this about 2 or 3 weeks ago. I was telling maybe 2 or 3 months ago, I was telling one of my homies, I was like, if somebody somewhere figured out a streaming service that only played old Video Souls, old Rap City, old, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Yo MTV Raps, I would have that shit on auto pay, bruh. Like,
absolutely.
I would watch that shit all the time.
Without question.
You know what I mean? Like, because it just brings back a certain feeling, man. Like,
yep.
And I just love that era because everybody was different. Nobody sounded the same. They had their own identities. Yep. Shit was just different then, man. And I know sometimes we be the old niggas talking about back in the day, but fuck it. You know what I'm saying?
Because we can never talk about back in the day in peace. People always think, y'all hating, man, get over it. And then when you look at like lists and people talk about their influences, it's all back in the day, man. Let us have back in the day.
Because, we did have, it was a lot of dope people. I would say that. But we had some whack niggas. We had Vanilla Ices and
absolutely
motherfuckers who only had one song and
yep.
You know what I mean? The Rumpelstiltskins and shit and the Flatliners. We had some motherfuckers like, yeah, they not gonna last.
Yeah.
They not fucking with Tribe and DeLa and LL and Kane. No. You know what I'm saying? Like, so we had a couple one-hit wonders.
For sure.
Yeah.
Like, Vanilla Ice was selling like hotcakes.
Crazy.
To the Extreme was selling crazy.
I remember he had a movie. I remember he was the first rapper that had a movie.
Cool as Ice.
Like the first commercial rapper. Because we had Crush Groove but it was just about him because Tougher Than Leather flopped. That shit was trash, but it was bad. It was bad.
Big flop.
But Cool as Ice was like They thought this motherfucker was about to be the next Michael J. Fox out here.
But that movie flopped too, though. Don't get it twisted. Cool as Ice did a hot nothing at the box office. The only real, like, you know, and I don't consider these rap movies because they weren't, but they were starring roles for rappers were like New Jack City and Boys in the Hood.
Mm-hmm.
Both the Ices came in and had a hell of a debut.
Yeah, because people thought that, you know, just because, oh, it's this thing, it's this new thing, the kids are into it, let's make a movie about it. You know what I'm saying? And some of them flew, you know, the B Streets, the Break-Ins, and then you had fucking rapping with Mario Van Peebles and shit like that. I watched that I watched it on my Twitch channel maybe like a month ago.
How was it?
Oh, it's still horrible to this day. It's so bad. And it's the little boy from The Last Dragon. Remember the little brother from Last Dragon?
Yes.
He in it.
Wow.
It's so bad.
God damn.
I was like, damn, can somebody tag Mario Peoples and get him to watch this shit with him? Like,
I would love to hear commentary on stuff like that. Like, yo, walk us through rapping, bro. You know, it was a good rapper movie that actually was funny and good that people don't really talk about was Disorderly.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, they were naturals.
I went to the movies to go see Disorderly.
Yeah, that was a funny movie that, you know, we was like, yo, these cats is like the hip hop Three Stooges, and it worked. Yes, and it worked because they was already they almost stole Crush Groove. Yeah.
And what's so crazy is Russell didn't even want them niggas in Crush Groove. Crush Groove was supposed to be Run DMC's movie. Wasn't supposed to be no comedy in it at all.
Right.
And they were shooting the scenes and they was like, yo, this shit it's too tough. Like, we need some laughter. And they put the Fat Boys in it. And
All You Can Eat. That was my video right there.
I love that song, man. So listen, you know, you're in Chicago, you know, you coming into your own, listening to hip hop, and you finding something that you can identify with as a music. So when did comedy come into play? When did you realize, like, hey, I might be funny? Like, when did that happen?
Shoot, this didn't come until late in the game, like late in my life. Like, you know, because I never felt like I was funny because my older brothers never laughed at my jokes. Never. I'm trying to get in, you know, they hanging out with their little friends. I'm trying to slide in my little jokes. Crickets, though. I was like, man, you know what? So when I'm in school and I'm making my peers laugh, I don't even register it because I'm so used to bombing at home.
Right.
And so I'm just like, man, you know what I'm saying? I just never thought of myself as funny. But girls were saying, you know, the girl, when you like a girl, and she'd be like, you so funny, you don't want to hear that. You'd be like, man, forget all that. What's up with this? You know, I don't want to hear that I'm funny. Not knowing that that's a good thing. That's a good thing. I'm like, man, forget all that. I want to be sexy. I want to be taken seriously. You know, so it didn't resonate. I was like, man, I ain't trying to be funny, man, even though I'm naturally funny. And so even through college, I'm going through college, and I went to New Mexico State University.
Okay.
And I'm very involved in the Department of Black Programs. I'm like super social, you know, and I'm just like hosting pageants and talent shows, and I'm just all over the place, making Vine videos in 98, 99, where Vine didn't even exist. And so everything was just funny. And I'm still, in my mind, like not registering that I'm a funny person.
That I'm funny, right.
Cut to the Electric Circus tour of Common. Mm-hmm. He had a stop in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And me and my brother went to this show. And a girl just snatches me up out the audience like, yo, you're hilarious. And I'm just like, you know who I am? She's like, yes, you hosted that MC battle at New Mexico State and you were hilarious. And I was just like, man, for her to snatch me up out of nowhere and say that, I was just like, man, maybe I'm funny. That was the first moment where I really took it in and accepted
it.
Yeah, and so, but still not, mind you, I'm not thinking stand-up comedy whatsoever. So once I started acting, I started doing theater in 2003, 4, somewhere in there. I did the play Fences. So, you know, I was doing dramatic, you know, theater. And then we did like a holiday play where we were various characters. And I'm just like, yo, because I always wanted to act for mad long. And so, so once I moved to LA in 2006 to pursue acting for real, that's when I was like, yo, maybe I should try stand-up as a way of exposure to get, because I'm
To the
thinking about
acting.
because I'm thinking about
Right.
all the comedians that transition into acting. Damon Wayans, Eddie Murphy, Robin Williams. So I was just like Richard Pryor, everybody. And so I was just like, let me try it. And then once I did stand up one time, fell in love with it, head over heels. I was just like,
Oh wow.
I was supposed to have been doing this shit the whole time. God damn it.
Right, you found your calling.
Man. And so here we are.
What and what's so crazy is I speak to comedians about this, you know what I'm saying, and we've all have had this, this conversation, and they all I admire y'all so much because we got a beat behind us. We got a
Right.
song and the hook that motherfuckers know. Y'all
Yeah.
got complete quiet.
Man.
And it's quiet, but you need to make it unquiet in here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, make me laugh.
We have to make complete strangers laugh on command, pretty much. We got a short window to do it, and we have to get that reaction out of complete strangers. And we don't know you from Adam, but we hope you find this shit funny like we did, and we go from there. There's no band, there's no hype man, there's no, there's no hit song for us to
Right.
tap into. We
You
can't
might
do no
not even-
covers.
Right. You might not even be able to read the room because you might not even be able to see everybody in there.
Man.
You might be like, oh, my folks in here. And then the last 6 rows is all another race of people. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, and they like, I don't know nothing about that. I
Right.
didn't
can't
get
relate.
that. That's
So it's like-
scary, man.
It is, man. Like I can't believe I do it, to be honest with you, because I was shy growing up, so it was just like, man, what the hell am I doing here? But here we are. I'm 14 years in now.
Damn. And
Mhm.
14 years, like serious, like writing jokes.
Once I started
Like-
doing stand up, I never stopped. You know how some people be like, I tried it, I dabbled
I
in
took
it.
a break,
I never took any breaks. The only break I took was the pandemic.
right? Because you had to.
Yeah, and that was the only break I'd ever had in stand up. I was going consistently once I did it the first time, never stopped.
And for me, like, it's a lot of comedians that have come and gone, the greats and the people that have dabbled in it. And, of course, like I said, the greats, the people that we always remember. And you can always remember certain things about them that stood out amongst, other people. Like, Chris, I always looked at him as like the moving comedian. Like, he never stayed in one place. Like, he was
Right.
always moving.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying? And I found out there was a method to that madness. Like, so it's like people won't take their eyes off you because it's like,
Yeah.
I don't know where you're going to be
Right.
when I look up. If I do look at my phone, if I talk to my girl, if I tune out for a minute, I might look crazy when I come back up because I don't even know where this nigga at. He just
Right.
continuously walking. He utilizes the whole stage.
Yes.
Then a person like Dave will stand in one spot.
Mm-hmm.
That nigga don't gotta move. Like,
Right.
it's almost like, it's like Rakim. Like, nigga, the song's so good.
Yeah.
All I can put the microphone out and y'all know all these fucking words.
Right.
I could stand right here. So Dave is like, I'm gonna just stand here.
Right.
You know what I
Yep.
mean? And certain other people have different qualities. But the one thing I've noticed about you is that, and you might not see it in a lot of comedians, but
Mm-hmm.
your voice off the rip sounds not funny, but it just sounds like it's something funny's gonna come out of your voice.
Got you. Yeah.
You know, almost like when you hear certain. If I hear Cat Williams just talking, Cat
Yeah.
Williams just has a funny voice,
Right.
so I'm waiting for him to say something funny.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever been told that before?
You know what? I think it's because people have always like made fun of the way I talk in terms of like accent and tone. Like, they'd be like, ooh, they start imitating me in front of me and I'll just be like, oh, okay. So I figured it was always something to it, you know what I mean? But then once I started doing voiceovers, now they just know my voice. So now when they hear it, they associate, funny with it. And I was just like, okay. So now just when they hear me, it's just like, man, it's just funny now. So
But
it's, growing up, I
wasn't
didn't
always
think
like that.
No, like, I didn't think my voice was that funny. But people have always talked about, my accent, the way I talk. So I guess it's all, gelling together and like, and I have a fear of, getting stuck in a box. Like that's one thing. Like, if I do, because I still love acting, and you know I can do dramatic acting well. So I never want to get stuck in that box where people can't take me seriously because of my voice, or they're just used to comedy. That's like a big fear of mine. Where they're like, man, I couldn't take them seriously, but you know,
Right. Because it's like I'm gonna need you to do that at some point if I continue on the path that I want to continue on.
right?
You know what I'm saying? Like when I look at a person like Marlon Wayans, when I look at Marlon going from, you know, the cockeyed character in Menace to Society to the abusive husband in, you know, the Aretha Franklin story, like, and he did an amazing job in that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So even on wasn't he just on the Bel Air joint when he played like the dad?
I heard great things about that performance too.
Killed it. Like killed it. So it's like if you keep getting the opportunities, you know what I'm saying, then to express yourself and stretch your wings, and sooner or later people going, if they keep seeing you, they're gonna be like, damn, I didn't know you had that in them. Like, he killed that shit. Like, it happens.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying?
And for me, drama is easier than comedy. Like, you know, to do a dramatic performance, it's just easier for me to tap into those emotions than to get the joke just right, you know?
Right.
And, you know, I just want to make sure that, you know, hey, I started in drama, so I can easily go back there.
Right. So you start doing jokes, and you're acting, you're in LA. Social media comes into play where we all got a phone in our hands.
Right.
You know, for these kids now, it's almost like it's their newspaper. It's how they find out if the stocks is down. It's how they find out if school gonna be closed. Everybody got their face in their phone in these social platforms.
Yep.
And then you start doing skits, because a lot of people was doing sketches and skits. You started pulling like content of animals and speaking as the animals, and the shit just takes off.
Yeah.
Like, what made you even do that? Like,
because you know what? Because we grew up, we always had pets in the house. We always had pets growing up. So my earliest memory is a picture of me. It's a picture of me on the floor in diapers with a dog, like damn near standing on my back, and a cat in the picture. So we always had animals. So I just grew up with them. And so, you know, when you grow up with them, you're just wondering, like, what are you thinking right now? Like, what's on your mind as a cat looking out the window? Like, what are you thinking about? So I've always looked at the pets like, what are you saying to yourself? What are you thinking about? When you're looking at me talk to you in English and you clearly don't understand what I'm saying, what are you thinking in your mind? So I grew up with that. And I've always just been super fascinated with animals. Animals are incredible.
Right.
So, so then like in 2000, this had to be 2013 maybe. 2012, 2013, I saw this video of this goat in Brazil just giving these people the blues, man. He was cutting up, man. He was ramming people off motorcycles. He knocked this old lady down with groceries. And this dude tried to save her, and he tried to come in, and then he started chasing him. And I was just like, yo, what is this goat saying? So I was like, I'm gonna be the goat. And so I'm gonna be this goat in this scenario. Posted that video on my little YouTube page, and I only had like 1,000 subscribers on YouTube at that time. Put it up there, you know. Nothing really noticeable about it traffic-wise. It was just like, yeah, I might do another one. And so I did another one where this cat was this raccoon was eating out the cat dish, and there was a whole bunch of cats like watching the raccoon, and the raccoon was taking the food and then just rinsing it off and then eating it, and the cats are looking at him and he looking at the cats. So I was just like, what is he talking about?
Right.
So I had these two videos. Marlon Wayans had a network that he was doing called What the Funny that he was going to start.
That,
yeah. So I was like, hey, Marlon, you know, I already knew Marlon through stand-up and I knew him personally. So it was just like, you know, I could do a show like this for your network. And I sent him those two videos. And he was like, man, this is great. Take those videos off your YouTube. Let's develop that type of show. So that was the plan. So I took those videos off of the internet. And What the Funny, whatever fell through at that network, so I would just occasionally repost those videos on my Instagram. one time I reposted the cat and the raccoon. This time when I reposted it, I remember Spice Adams reposted it and other people were reposting it and it went viral.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just like, and people kept telling me, repost the raccoon, man, repost the raccoon. I was like, I already posted it 3 times. Post it again. And so this time it went viral. And so I was like, man, the people really like this. Let me just start doing these on my own and not just wait. And so ever since then, I just been doing, the voiceovers. And I was doing this before, like, I knew, voiceovers would get popular, virally. I was just doing it on pure love of the game. And so, so it was never, for me, it was never, because I can see people trying to do voiceovers now just to get numbers.
Right.
But for me, it was just like, I really want to be the animals. Like, I've always wanted to speak for them since I was a kid.
And it comes off that way.
Yeah. So I've always wanted to, speak on their behalf. So, and that's how that ended up just getting traction. Then I just became more consistent with just doing them, as they came through, and still doing them to this day.
Man, listen, bro, it's like anytime I see them, they come at the perfect time. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's never not funny. You know what I'm saying? Because we ain't never seen the animal talk. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's not something that happens in real life. So we can only get that in the fantasy land or in a place that's, where someone has dubbed it over or made it into something else. But man, them shits are always like, they never fail. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like you got like the peach cobbler jokes. Like, it's like the peach cobbler always gonna be good. You know what I mean? Like, if it's always gonna be good. You just got a thing that works. Were you the one who, I don't know if this was you or not, and if not, I don't want to throw no shade to the other person that made it, but I know you use this term a lot. When in Planet of the Apes, when the original, the first video when Caesar talked, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. The dude jumped back like he heard him talk. Right. And, I think the first video I saw of that was somebody had overdubbed that. The dude, the ape leaned into the dude and he said, "Yeah, you remember that dude you told on? Remember that dude? Yeah. He out, Playboy."
Right.
Yeah, he out. And the dude jumped back like,
yeah, he was like, snap.
It's like, and from that point on, I've always heard even in your, when you promoting your shows or something will sell out, you'd be like, yeah, man, DC, them tickets, man, they gone, Playboy.
Yeah.
And it's like, you already hear it in your voice.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yep.
It's almost like, it's certain jokes, man, that you can write them and we still laugh because we read them as you.
Yeah.
If you understand what I'm saying. Like, it's certain phrases that you have that when you write it out, we read it and hear it in our heads as you.
Right.
And I don't know a lot of, comedians that, of course, Kevin can type, all right, and we'll know exactly what that is. There's not a lot of people that have those, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And but you definitely got, every time I read it and laugh, you'd be like, yeah, Philly, them tickets, man, they gone, Playboy. Like, I just fucking die laughing, man.
Man,
Super
I appreciate
funny.
that, man. That first video you were talking about with the Planet of the Apes, I had seen somebody dub over that clip. So it was probably somebody else. And I don't know if he said Playboy or not, but the first one I did of that particular clip, when he leaned in and he was like, it was about leftovers, and I did it around Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And he leaned in, he was like, them leftovers gone, Playboy. They gone. so
you really sound like a nigga uncle. Like, like, it's so fucking funny to me because I can picture that person at the function, at the cookout, at the, you know what I mean, at the barbecue. Like, shit, man, that shit is hilarious, man. I love that voice, man. It's such a dope thing.
Appreciate it, man. So
I came into, I came, one of the things that, outside of your sketches and things of that nature, from Instagram, I started following you on Twitter. And And you know, of course, everybody knew the gram was popping more and was what it was. But one day you
Right.
put, this is one of the things that caught me. It really caught my attention, and I told you about it. Was when you posted, you said De La Soul is really relationship goals.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to be like no couple. I want to be like De La Soul. And then you went through the you was like, they've been together this amount of years. They ain't
Yep.
never broke up, and you ain't never seen them you ain't never seen them in public arguing with each other, beefing each
Right.
other. De La Soul is relationship goals for me.
Right.
And I remember going, like, yeah, this a hip hop nigga right here. Like,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. For sure.
like I was like, he know his shit. What made you even come up with that tweet?
Because, man, like, you know, I'm a big DeLa fan, and I'm always going to the streaming platforms to see if they did right by them and their albums are up. Because I'm always like, man, I want to listen to some DeLa. And, you know, we only got the grind date and the album they crowdfunded for. And
The Anonymous Nobody.
The Anonymous Nobody. And and I always go back to that album to listen to the song with Estelle and that Pete Rock produced. And I was just thinking that De La Soul, I'm just like, yo, this is a group that has never broken up. They don't have any solo projects. They've been together since their debut in what, 88, 89?
Yep.
And there's I'm sure they argue amongst each other, but there's never been.
We ain't never seen it.
We ain't never seen it. You know, we can't say the same thing about any other group in hip hop that have still constantly put out projects together. Like, you know, and it's like, that's relationship goals. If you're in a relationship from 89 to now, people going to plug, they're going to clap at the show. Man, how long y'all been together? Man, we've been together, you know, 32 years. You're going to be like, oh, man, that's, you know what I'm saying?
That's amazing.
Man. And so I look at De La Soul, and, you know, even the Locks, I look at like that. But, you know, De La Soul was before the Locks. So it was just like, this is amazing right here that they were able to stand, because we've seen countless groups break up, they fight, they break up and come back together. You know what I'm saying? We saw the Tribe documentary. It was just turmoil within the group. It's just like, God damn, man.
And I was just talking to my friend, we so didn't expect to see that. Like, you know, when I saw the doc and I was like, oh shit, you know, the trial, you know, the trials and tribulations of A Tribe Called Quest. I'm like, oh shit, this is gonna be dope. Like, and you know, I was discovered by Q-Tip, so I was definitely close to it.
Yeah.
And the first fucking scene is like, I'm done with this shit, man. Like, niggas beefing. I'm like,
man,
wow. It was, and I was around it, and it was still heartbreaking to see on a screen.
Yeah, that hurt,
You know what I
man.
mean?
I was just like, damn, man. You know, because I look at Tribe and that whole native tongue movement. I'm just like, man, that everything just looks so fun and so dope and so pure and so, you know,
special,
non-problematic and non-violent, that we were just like, man. So when you see it, and you just like, damn it, you know.
Yeah, I remember in the movie when they had cut to Paz from DeLa, him and Dave, and they were like, well, how you guys feel about this? And they were both like, man, listen, like, if they want to continue like this, then I'd rather they break up. I don't want to see them like this.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm sure don't nobody else want to see this. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, and I was just like, oh, and they, you know, those they friends, they super close. That's DeLa. You know what I mean?
Right.
They right there with Tribe. So, and like you said, for somebody to some OGs, or, you know, for DeLa to have the relationship that they have and never went through nothing publicly.
Right.
To look at their little brothers and go, man, I don't want to see this shit. I know y'all don't want to see it because I'm a fan too, and I don't want to see it. You know what I mean?
And the fact that DeLa, they don't even do solo joints. There's no solo day. There's no solo day. There's no solo pass.
Yeah.
And it's just because you know, when you can do your little solo projects, that gives you the room to breathe, and then you can come back to the group because you're not dependent on the group things to survive. But they have consistently just stayed a group and a group only, and it makes it even more amazing that they still together.
It's like when you see him, you're gonna see me, and when you hear him, you're gonna hear me.
Yep.
To be able to maintain that for 30 plus years is fucking insane.
Amazing. And somebody tried to bring up ZZ Top, and I was just like, man, let me look up this ZZ Top example. And I was like, no, because They done switched the drummer out or somewhere. So
Right,
somebody
yeah.
always got to come out of nowhere with another example. Well,
Right.
you know, I'm like,
Right.
man,
It's
come on.
always that. It's always that place.
Yeah.
So, okay, so listen, man. This is Hip Hop Confessions.
Mm-hmm.
That's the name of the podcast. So we're gonna get straight into it. We done got the side talk out the way. Tony Baker,
Right.
I need to know, what is your hip hop confession?
Okay, my hip hop confession is I don't have no personal stories that
Okay.
would be interesting with musicians and stuff. My confession is I choose sides in hip hop beef. I don't know if that's a big confession. I know a lot of people just I don't like them both. I'll be choosing sides depending on who the artists are. So with that being said, when Common beef with West Side Connection, I was Common.
Mm-hmm.
When
Understandably so.
When Pac and Biggie was beefing, I was Biggie.
Mm-hmm.
When Nas and Jay got into it, I was Nas. I'd be picking sides.
Always.
Man, like here lately, I can't even think of any hip hop beef that really got my attention here lately. I'm
gonna test your G on a couple. I'm gonna run a couple past you to see whose sides you pick.
okay.
You know what I mean? Since you always pick a side.
I usually pick a side. Now I don't pick sides as much now as I used to, but yeah,
Right.
I'll be side picking. Like even with Pusha T and Drake, I was leaning towards Push.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm from Virginia, so you already know
Yeah.
where I was going. You know what I'm saying? Where I was going. Okay. So 50 and Ja Rule, where was you at?
Okay. That's an example of a beef I never really connected to.
Okay.
Because I wasn't really a big fan of Ja Rule like that.
Mm-hmm.
And when 50 came out, I already had like a thing. See, I chose against 50 before that because Wu-Tang felt disrespected by 50 Cent because of How to Rob.
Yeah.
And so
a lot of rappers did.
Right. And so since Wu-Tang took it personally, I felt like I was Wu-Tang. I felt like I was in the group, even though I was not. I was just like, hey, man, So it was just like I had a little thing towards 50 already for the Wu-Tang disrespect.
Right, so you was feeling the way.
I was feeling the way, but I wasn't on board with Ja Rule either. So I was just chilling and taking that beef in as it was.
Okay.
I didn't really choose between Ja Rule and 50, but I did feel like 50 was trying to bully everybody. So when he started beefing with the Locks and Fat Joe, I was with the Locks and Fat Joe.
Got you, because now you just see him as a bully.
You're right.
You just want to do this shit to get attention.
Yeah.
All right, I'll give you another one.
Okay.
Cameron and Mace.
Oh,
You remember
man.
that?
Yep, I do. Here's a every time somebody's beefing with somebody. So by the time I discovered that Cameron and Mace weren't getting along, because I like both Cameron and Mace.
Yes,
like
of
I
course.
bought Cameron's Confessions of Fire album. I bought
We all
Harlem
bought
World.
Harlem World.
Yeah, so and I feel like yo Cam is nice. Y'all need to get in on it because I feel like Mace was a superstar, and so I feel like Cam was on the rise, and I like that dynamic him and Mace had.
Right.
And so when I find out later on that, Cam and Mace, are beefing, I had a chip on my shoulder towards Cam because they was trying to come at Nas.
Oh,
So
yeah. I remember that.
In the Nas Cam beef, I'm Nas. So it's just like, so I was just like, but I didn't really go pro Mace either. I was just like, it was another situation like 50 and Ja Rule. I was just like, hey, man. But when it came to Cameron and Jim Jones versus Nas, I was Nas.
Okay. Now I got another one for you, and this one was hard for me.
Uh-huh.
This one was hard, and it was it was hard. Jadakiss and Beanie Siegel.
Oh, man.
Remember that?
Yeah, I do.
That shit was brutal.
Man.
Because for me, when one of them niggas came out, you would always go, damn, dog, yo, he over.
Yeah,
Ain't no coming back from this. That nigga over. And then bam.
Yeah.
The next cat with Jadakiss or Beans would drop a reply, and you'd be
Yes.
like, bruh.
Mm-hmm.
And then it would come back like,
Yeah.
I remember when Jadakiss said, he called Siegel a fat fuck. He was like,
Oh, man.
nigga, he said, I shouldn't even play with you. He said, you fat fuck. Like, what bitch want to lay with you? He was like, something about you can't do nothing to me. And
Yeah.
bring the baby gorilla with you. He dying for free. I said, yo, time out. And I'm a battle rapper.
Yeah.
So I at that point in my life, I don't feel like nothing is too
table.
far off the
Yeah.
table. That
Right.
nigga said, bring the baby gorilla with you. He dying for free. I
Man.
said, ooh, shit.
Yeah, man.
That shit was real. And I was like, both of these niggas are spitters.
Yeah. Yep.
It was like Baby Nas and Baby J. Like,
Yep.
you know what I mean?
They were going out. I was like, man, they were going for the jugulars, and it was that back and forth was clean. And I love it when it's not one sided.
Yes.
When it's not, it's not somebody getting slaughtered out, and then they just threw in the towel. It was like, because I remember thinking like, I don't know if Nas, because Nas had never been battle tested on a straight up,
not like that,
non-subliminal battle, so it was just like. The takeover was scathing. I was just like, nobody expected Ether.
And
Nobody expected
he baited Nas so perfect.
Man.
That was the perfect jab to make a motherfucker lean in and get popped.
Man.
So nobody expected Ether.
Ether it blew everybody's lid loose, and it was just like, and now, even to this day, it's a verb. It's like, yo, don't get ethered out.
You got
here.
ethered.
Man. And so with Jadakiss and Beanie getting into it, it was like, I still got a chip on my shoulder towards Rockefeller.
From that shit, right.
Because they was coming at Nas. So it was just like, all right, I'm leaning with the locks and Jada. And, so it's always like when I'm a fan of somebody, man, I really be loyal.
Right.
And so even though I was a fan of Jay-Z, Nas got me first. Nas came out with Illmatic and it was written. So I love Reasonable Doubt. So once they started beefing, it was just like, well, Nas. And so it that's just what it was. Even when Action Bronson disrespected Ghostface, I went with Ghost. I was just like, hey, man, I was Action Bronson McGee until I feel like he disrespected, and I was just like, man, I gotta.
Yeah, you gotta get checked.
Yeah, so.
All right, so NWA and Cube.
You know what? In that situation, I'm also a fan of underdogs. And in that situation, Ice Cube was the underdog. It was like, yo, what is he gonna do without the crew? What is he gonna do without Eazy and Dr. Dre?
Right.
Will he survive? It was like a lesser artist would have crumbled under the weight of that.
Right.
Ice Cube battled them dolo and then continued to thrive on his own. And that just proved, it was just like, yo, Ice Cube. So in that situation, it was just like, I went with the underdog because, I like Cube and all the NWA, I was just like, yeah, but since he was the underdog, I was like, man, y'all ain't gonna do him like this. And then when he came with that No Vaseline and then backed that up with America's Most Wanted, I was just like, oh, he's good.
Got him out of here.
Yeah.
Like he proved that he was the better writer. Like
absolutely.
Like Ren, no disrespect to Ren, but Ren pen wasn't even fucking with
right.
Cube at Cube's heyday, at his height.
Right. And that was just proof positive that, yo, I do this, yo. Eazy, you don't write. And Dr. Dre, I don't think he wrote either. So all they had was Ren to hold the writing porch down. And it was
that was just hard.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. The Game versus 50. Did you have a dog in that fight?
The dog I had was the Game because once he went against the juggernaut of G Unit, he was the underdog. And I was just like, he refused to get Ja Rule. He was just like, yo, I'm gonna keep fighting back. I'm gonna fight back, and he fought back. He would not stop, and I was just like, he's making sure that he is not getting buried under the.
And he kept getting up like Rocky, like
yes,
you know what I'm saying?
Yep, and I respected him for that. I was just like, as you should, game, and so
because that G Unit run was mean.
Oh my God,
that G Unit run was goddamn. That G Unit run was different.
It was. We had never seen anything like that. Really, it was just. For 50 Cent to come out and do what he did, the numbers he was doing, it was just insane. And then, he was such a juggernaut that even his crew, they coming in going double platinum and platinum.
Yeah.
It was just like, yo, these cats are just on another level.
Like everything.
So for the game to stand up to that, I applauded him for it. I was just like, yeah, you gotta fight for your life, and he did that. So
yeah, he did.
Which
brings me to another moment that me and you ended up having online indirectly was when we was talking about 50 Cent. When I posted I put up a tweet about New York and Atlanta.
Yeah.
And I said I was asking, I was like, is Atlanta, has Atlanta held on to the hip hop stronghold in music longer than New York had it, or is it close? And I remember people lost their mind. New York is the Mecca. We ain't gonna never not be hot. And And I was like, I'm just asking. Like, I don't got a dog in this. I'm from Virginia. I don't got nothing. My town don't got nothing on either one of y'all. We can't compete to how long y'all have had longevity. And I remember maybe about 2 days later, I saw you put the post up and kind of said, hey, this a good question right here. How y'all feel about this? I feel like Atlanta.
Right.
And you voiced your opinion on it. And it sparked such a debate online about, who's, because in my opinion, I always felt like Atlanta hasn't surpassed New York, but it's close.
Yeah. It's
super close.
Right.
And I think eventually it probably will, because Atlanta been hot for so long, it just seemed normal.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It seems normal. You never thought motherfuckers would be going to Atlanta to do the hip hop awards and you know what I'm saying, and shooting movies. It's a whole fucking black Hollywood in Atlanta now.
Right.
You know what I mean? So nobody saw that coming.
Right.
But New York, yes, is the Mecca, and it started in New York. But the attitude that New York had when they had it, that's what almost made people be like, well, shit, we hot now. Like, it's our turn.
Right. Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So how did you feel about that? Like, in terms of geography, like, what do you think?
Well, for me, and like I was saying in the debate, because I was trying to do a real timeline. So, of course, New York is the foundation. So
yes.
New York has had it since the inception of hip hop, literally all the way into the 2000s. Granted, they gave it up to the West for a little bit, but then they got it back, and then they would give it up for a little bit, but then somebody would come and just bring back the glory. Like, when the West got hot in the early 90s, Dr. Dre's The Chronic kind of, even though NWA made an impact, it was still kind of like balanced, but then once The Chronic came out, it was like clearly West for a little bit.
For real, yeah.
Yes, they were going double platinum, triple platinum, and then
it was pop.
The East Coast was like golden out. So then, Wu-Tang made some noise. It was like a groundswell, like Wu-Tang. Nas came in with the critical acclaim, but the low sales initially. And then Biggie came in with the modest sales too, but then he grew. Ready to Die grew into this behemoth. And so it was like, all right, we got the East back with Biggie and Bad Boy and like everything that was going
97 was all New York.
So it was like New York is back. And then, with the death of Biggie and the rise of Jay-Z and Rockefeller and like, the New York was thriving again long term. And the Fugees are also East Coast. Yeah. But you said New York, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, New York. So I'll take the Fugees out, even though they were monsters.
10 million sold, yeah.
Yeah, New York kept getting it back. They just kept getting it back. And so, you had Outkast pop in the South and like, the Brat, even though she's from Chicago, but she was with So Def, so it was like a little blurry there. And Crisscross, I don't feel like they really put Atlanta out there, even though they were from there. You had to dig in.
They was kids.
Yeah, so it was like you had Outkast and Goody Mob holding down the fort in the South. And also Scarface and the Ghetto Boys holding down the South. But that's not Atlanta. We talking Atlanta. Okay, all right, let me stay focused on Atlanta. Okay, so Outkast, Goody Mob, right? And they doing numbers. And then in the mid to later 2000s, it's like you had a whole bunch of cats from Atlanta. Atlanta had a sheer volume of just artists coming out of there. And so it was just so many of them. They would have hit singles and ringtones. Yeah. And so you got this marriage of, that going on. Meanwhile, 50 Cent is a goddamn juggernaut, who took the spot from another New Yorker, which was Ja Rule. So it was just like New York is just... And
DMX was in there. During that time,
God damn. DMX was...
Puff killing 97, 98.
Doing crazy numbers.
7 million out the can. Yeah.
It was just like the sheer volume of just like behemoths coming out of New York. But again, Atlanta just had this massive swell of just like artists coming through. Some stuck around, some didn't, but everybody was moving numbers. Lil Jon... Youngbloods are just coming out. T.I. was coming out. So it was just like, all right. So then the South took over. It was just like, all right, Atlanta's here now. And then you had, once you started having New York cats trying to sound like they from Atlanta, that's when you knew. New York is off the clock. And so now I feel like Atlanta is still catching up to New York's total years on top.
Right.
So they haven't passed them yet, but they damn sure catching up, and they probably will pass them.
I believe so. Like,
yeah,
because I tell people all the time, like 50 was the last hot male rapper who shifted the culture and made a big mark in the culture. Like,
yeah,
and motherfuckers was wearing wife beaters and fucking chains and do rags and shit.
Right.
But that. At his height, Kanye came in, you know what I mean? That's when Kanye was rapping and it was late registration and college dropout. But
right.
I always tell people, like, the last two kings of New York never really sounded like they was from New York. And people usually don't give them credit because they were women. So it's like Cardi... and Nicki were the last two people that had New York popping, but they don't sound like they from New York. And they girls, so ain't no New York cat gonna ever say, yeah, Nicki was the king for a minute.
That's right.
They going, but Nicki's run was insane.
We gotta give it up.
Cardi's still on a run, but the last male rapper from New York City that dented the culture was 50. They haven't had one since.
Yeah.
Not like 50.
I didn't even think about Cardi B and Nicki Minaj. So you got to give New York some other years in there then.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why I said Atlanta, even if Atlanta is close, they still got a ways to go.
And Cardi B is still one of the major forces in the game when it comes to
straight from
rap
the Bronx.
right now.
Straight from the Bronx, live in Atlanta.
Man, that's true.
You know what I'm saying?
So yeah. I didn't even think about that aspect of it.
Yeah,
man.
Real.
So that gives New York even more notches because New York, they always have behemoths.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, even Nicki Minaj, Cardi B, Jay-Z, Biggie, Nas,
DMX.
50 Cent, LL Cool J, DMX.
It's big. It's not.
Man.
It's not. Either you the biggest shit out of New York or you ain't nothing. Ain't no in between.
Yeah.
It's like, nah, nigga, you ain't bubbling, nigga. Either you smashing this shit or you not.
Right.
Because once you the hottest in New York, the whole world gonna know about you.
Right.
Not if you the hottest in your borough, in your neighborhood. When you're the hottest thing in what happens in New York happens in the world.
Right. Yeah.
So it's like once you the hottest in the city, the world about to know about you. And that came true for Puff, Cardi, Jay, DMX, Ja Rule, 50.
Yeah.
They was the hottest in New York at a time.
That's true. You never think of a New York artist. Nobody ever says, "Oh, they just a local legend," or they just a local.
No,
none of you never hear that about New York.
Listen, if you can make it, what they say, if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere.
Yeah, I never even thought about that.
Yeah, so
that's crazy,
man, for sure. Well, listen, bro, man, I just wanted to, have you on the podcast. And like I said, I'm a big fan. I appreciate your confession. If y'all, the recap is when somebody's in the hip hop battle, Tony always picks a side.
I like picking sides, man. Like, that
He's
comes down to food. That comes down to food. That comes down to, like, if I watch a sporting event, like right now the NBA playoffs are going.
Right.
I have to pick a team to root for before I watch the game, just to make the game more interesting.
Right. I get it.
Granted, my emotions are in check because it's not Chicago, but when I'm watching a team, I have to pick somebody just to make it more interesting.
Right.
So maybe that's what it is.
I get it, man. I get it.
Yeah,
well, I appreciate you for pulling up, brother. In case anybody's listening and they've been under a rock and they don't know where to follow you at or how to get to your socials, let them know how they can stick in with what you're doing.
You can follow me at Tony Baker on Instagram, Tony Baker Comedy on YouTube, Tony Baker Comedy on Facebook as well. Pull up to all that, TonyBakerComedy.com to see my merch, my show dates, all that good stuff. I'm currently on tour now. I'm not sure when this episode will drop. But I'm in DC this weekend. I'm in Raleigh the next weekend, and then in June I'll be in Richmond, Virginia, in your neck of the woods.
I'm gonna come see you.
Pull up, man.
We got a show the day after. We got a show while you here with Redman Method Man. So.
Oh damn! Is that on a Thursday?
No. It's on a Saturday.
Damn.
But
okay.
It might be before your show.
Okay. Because I'll be trying.
You probably got 2 shows that night. It's a Saturday night. But I think we rocking at like 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. So
shoot, I might be able to pull up on that. Just leave early.
Yeah, I might
have to leave early.
I'll let you know.
Hell yeah, let me know, man.
I'm definitely gonna come see you Friday night though.
And pull up, man. You know what I'm saying? I'll throw you on the list, man. And that's it. That's where they can find me. Pull up. It's good times. We talk silliness, animal voiceovers, jokes, hip hop, movies, all that.
Dope.
Multifaceted.
Well, I appreciate you, brother.
Appreciate you, man.
Thank you for coming through. Y'all keep tuning in. This has been Hip Hop Confessions with your boy Mad Skillz and Tony Baker. Cause everybody got one.
Here's a little story that must be told.
And it goes a little something like this.